This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know that one friend who always finds the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach? How do they do that? Well, Smart Travel is like that friend, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like which travel cards earn their keep and which are just heavy, shiny metal, and planning group trips that won't ruin your budget or your friendships. So travel smarter and spend less. That's the key with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Armchair-Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. Hey guys, welcome to Armchair Explorer. My name's Aaron Miller. I'm a travel writer and your host. And today, well, it's Thanksgiving week here in America. So wherever you are, happy Thanksgiving. I love this holiday because it's all about gratitude. It's all about eating too much, drinking too much, three of my favorite things. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a good one. And in that spirit, I wanted to put out this immersion episode. It's all about food in Wisconsin. And this format, if you guys aren't familiar, is the one in which we record everything on the road, on location, in stereo surround. So we're really trying to kind of immerse you in what it feels like to be there. I recorded this with a good friend of mine, Ali Nisbet. We had such a laugh on this trip. And the idea behind this episode was to showcase some great food, but through that lens, look at the history and culture of this place. So we talk about sacred corn with the Oneida Nation. We talk about fish boils. We talk about pizza farms. It's a lot of fun. It's guaranteed to whet your appetite. So it's a good one for this week because you're going to need your appetite this week, of course. But I also hope you just really enjoy it. And I wanted to say, from my gratitude perspective, thank you to all of you for listening to this show and continuing to support it. You guys are amazing. It really means the world to me that so many of you have written in to say that you enjoy what we do here, and it's an honor to share these adventures and these stories with you. So I hope you have your appetite because we're about to head over to Wisconsin, which, by the way, you might not know a lot about. It's one of those places where if you live outside of America, you probably haven't thought about Wisconsin all that much. But where I live in Colorado, people go up there in the summer all the time for lake holidays and that kind of thing. It is renowned as one of the most friendly places in America. And it really is. That is the experience I had too. So sit back, enjoy. I hope you're hungry. This is Wisconsin and it's all about food.
The thing about eating a meal with people is that you share a meal with somebody, it breaks down barriers because just as like a physiological experience, like, oh, there's food in front of us, there's security. Yeah. So now we don't have to be threatened by each other in like a primal understanding of that. But then beer elevates that to the magic of the intoxication of a shared experience, right? And so that is why beer and pizza go well together.
Yeah.
The primal solving of a human conflict problem and the primal mysticism paired perfectly.
Here's to those who Wisconsin. That's what they say in this part of the world, because traveling here is not so much about exploring a place as discovering a mindset. I'm Aaron Miller, I'm a travel writer, and what I love most is finding those places you may not have heard of or know well yet, but once you do, you'll keep coming back for more. In this two-part documentary series recorded on location, we'll be searching for that Wisconsin state of mind. In episode 1, we found it through art. Today, we're looking for it through the lens of its food. This is Wisconsin, so you may be expecting an episode about cheese. But I'm sorry, there's not a cheese curd in sight, because this episode is as much about culture and community as it is eating well. They say we are what we eat, and if that's true, then tracing the history of food also tells the story of a place and its people. And we're going to start, as many meals do, with grace.
Jakarta 초지 내 송과 회 내요 회띠 요새 내요.
This is Kirby Metoxen, a council member of the Oneida Nation, singing Amazing Grace in his native language.
요새
This isn't the grace you say before a meal, of course, but it is a fitting start to this story, because the history of Wisconsin's food begins with its first people. There are 11 federally recognized tribes that call this state home. Each has their own relationship with their traditional foods. And we're going to start our story in the Oneida Reservation, located today just outside of Green Bay.
Our foods have a lot of power in them. And when we put that love and care into our foods and we give thanks to them, they respond to that.
This is Leah Zeise. We're speaking with her at the food pantry of the Oneida Nation, which she helps coordinate with her mother.
Our corn is part of our creation story. It's part of our core identity. It's part of our responsibility as people. It's part of our ceremonial cycle. It was considered a very sacred food. And so they fill our spirits and they connect us along that ancestral chain to our ancestors. So you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your soul.
The Oneida came to Wisconsin in the 1820s after being forced from their homelands in upstate New York. It was a treacherous journey across the Great Lakes in poorly built boats provided by the government. Many sunk, and many others died from illness and starvation.
When we got here, we had our corn seeds with us and went all through winter without eating those seeds. So those original ancestors really had the forethought that it was so important to be able to plant in the spring and continue that sustenance for the people. There's a lot of records of our people growing just miles and miles of corn and miles of food. Unfortunately, a lot of those records are from a time when our foods were being destroyed and our villages were being burned. And so it really resulted in a major intergenerational breakage of knowledge transfer. So as we're starting to rebuild our nation, we're revitalizing all of these things that had to be put away and had to be put aside, and we're really waiting for us to pick that back up again. So we are thankful to the people who went into hiding to preserve these ceremonies, the language, the culture, the recipes, the seeds, all of these things that really had to be buried in order for us to unearth them again.
The Oneida Food Pantry is completely volunteer run. They have about 15 local families who donate thousands of hours each year, picking the corn, husking, braiding, and shelling it, all by hand.
All of that love goes into that food, and that makes it even more spiritually fulfilling to eat the food. So the idea of mindful eating and eating together and making sure that everybody eats is a very big part of our culture. The idea that there would be hungry children, hungry elders in our community is not in alignment with our traditional teachings. And so not just the mindfulness of food, but the sharing of food and the availability of food is very central to our culture.
What are some of your favorite traditional dishes that maybe you grew up eating or cooking with your family?
I absolutely love corn mush. I love it with strawberries and walnuts and maple syrup. I love it with mushrooms and sausage and sage. I love a good corn soup. My friend just got molinito, so we've been making masa and tamales. Oh. So that's been very exciting. I think that traditional foods, maybe because they're so precious right now, because they're not as abundant, I would never eat a bowl of corn soup in front of the TV. I would just feel like I'm just mindlessly eating. Yeah. And it's such a precious thing, and there's so much time that you have to put into making it that you really want to savor it. I think it's something that you can empty out of a box and throw in your mouth is something that you might conveniently eat in front of a TV or in a car. I just ate in a car today. I'm not above eating in a car. I don't want to make you think that I am completely pure. It wasn't corn soup. Much, no.
For the Oneida, food is not just something on our plates, but something in our hearts, prepared with time, love, and respect. And just like those first Oneida who arrived in Wisconsin and protected their seeds through the long winter, the Oneida Food Pantry is helping to preserve their culture through the seeds they are planting too. We leave Leah and drive a few miles down the road to another native food program, Uwakwa Farm. We're here to meet one of the founders, Becky Webster, who along with her husband Steve are also using traditional food as a way of bringing the community together.
This is a beautiful spot. So we heard you built all of this yourself.
Yes, yeah. We bought this property. It was vacant in 2017, and we've been going nonstop ever since.
When Becky and Steve purchased the farm, it was practically derelict, and the soil had been severely damaged by modern farming practices. Today, the property has been completely transformed with traditional crops, orchards, berry patches, and a farmstead kitchen where the community comes to learn about their ancestral foods.
So this is an Ojibwe-style corn pounder made out of yellow birch, and this is an Oneida-style corn pounder made out of elm. You'll notice they're very different sizes, and that's primarily because the Ojibwe folks were more mobile, and we tended to stay in one spot for longer. So this one we actually just took down the elm tree last spring. We hollowed out the core area, burnt it out, and she's been drying in our basement for a year to minimize these cracking around the outside. All right, so you want to try some out?
Oh, do I get to?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah.
Putting the corn into the
Corn pounder?
corn pounder.
Yep, and then we're going to,
Just pounding it down there.
yeah.
And so how fine? Okay, I'm gonna take hold of this now. I'll
So-
give it a go myself.
Yeah, till it gets
Harder?
to be a powder.
Powder.
Oh, okay.
Don't stop till you have powder.
We're gonna be here a while.
And you're not getting anywhere, so...
I don't know if I've crushed a single corn yet. Maybe one. I think I see one now. The pounder is quite heavy too. You know, it's
That's a light.
that's a light one.
Yes.
So now you're really making me. All right, edit that.
We have some really beautiful pictures of some old ladies in our community, some grandmas, just really going, and you can see their arms. They're just built for this.
How's Aaron doing compared to the old grandma?
This is producer Ali Nisbet, who you'll remember from episode 1.
Almost as good as grandma.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh, actually, I was coming good now. I feel like we're getting there.
Yeah, it's like a lot of our foods, it's not fast.
No.
Our foods are a labor of love. They take time, and you're putting your medicine and your energy and your thoughts and your feelings into every step of the way. So we need to take our time and appreciate the process.
What does it mean to you to be part of keeping those traditions alive?
I think it's just amazing that we have this opportunity and we have the ability to do this, because I grew up here and we didn't quite have access to all of the things that we have now. So we know that it's really difficult to find these different pieces of information that are scattered all over the place that our ancestors had to lay down just in order to survive. So we feel we have a responsibility that when we find stuff, when we connect these dots from all the people that are around us, that we turn around and we share that with people so it's not so difficult for other people to find. And when we set off to do this, we talked to an Oneida faith keeper about our plans, and that's when he named the property Ungwakwa Nuni Ungwayaya Toslu. It means our foods, where we plant things. Everything is alive around us, and we just have to open our ears and listen for it.
Becky and Steve run a bunch of different programs at the farm, from making cornhusk stalls and cooking classes to farm dinners and a store for everything they grow.
People will come and ask us how much do we sell our corn for, and we tell them that we don't sell our corn, we only trade. And then people will trade like venison and jam and jelly, but they'll also trade for things like finding medicines in the woods, singing lessons, haircuts. So it's about valuing ourselves beyond what somebody is willing to pay us for our work, because you just can't put a dollar amount on what somebody's value, what they're worth. Actually, my husband even traded once for a 1980s He-Man castle. So everything's on the table.
That's worth quite a lot, too. I'm not going to blame him.
Yeah. It's about having conversations with people, about reconnecting and not just having it be a simple, transaction at the cash register.
Yeah.
Because you need to explain what it is that you've brought in, talk about your grandma and this recipe that you learned and how much time it takes. And then we can in turn say, these are the beans that our family has cared for so many years, and this is what they grow like, and this is how much we love them. And then we make these trades, and we're reforming those community relationships with people.
Yeah, and it changes the sense of value, doesn't it? Like
Yes.
just handing over a note, you know, that maybe doesn't have much meaning compared to, oh, this, you know, this recipe was passed down to me, or like
Yes.
I spent a day making this. What can I get for a podcast?
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding you. I was thinking it's so sad because I don't think I have. I'm one of those people. I don't have any tangible thing to trade, you know?
Oh,
Shoes you're wearing.
yeah.
Every time an Indigenous person plants a seed, Becky says, it is an act of resistance and an assertion of sovereignty. They're not just growing corn at Iwakwa. They're reclaiming their heritage, one seed at a time. From the Oneida Reservation, we drive 100 miles north to the top of the Door Peninsula, a narrow strip of land cutting between the waters of Green Bay and Lake Michigan like a knife. This is one of Wisconsin's wildest spots. 300 miles of shoreline framed by sandy beaches and densely forested limestone bluffs. So it's a dark sky reserve too. Oh, this is nice, isn't it? Just turned off into a little forest road now. And just going through a tunnel of trees. Beach access. There's two words I like to hear together.
Brilliant.
Lovely jubbly.
Brilliant, mate.
We've come just about as far north as you can go to the tip of Newport State Park. Oh, we're just walking down a little trail here. It looks like it's opening out through the trees. And the nice thing is, it's sunset and there's not a soul here. Is there? Not a soul. I'm just going to take a moment here to walk down out of the forest now onto the sand. It's a beautiful sandy beach actually. It's dusk. The sky is just fading into the smooth pastel blue of the lake. It's like a stretched piece of velvet. It's so smooth. I'm just going to take a minute here to be quiet and just listen. There might be no more relaxing sound in the world than that. And this is a beautiful place. It was also an important place historically because 150 years ago, where I'm standing right now on the Newport waterfront on the shore, looking out at this gorgeous lake, there was a lumber port here. And that's important historically because that was the economy of the first settlers that came over here from Scandinavia and elsewhere. And in this little clearing here, there would have been a lumber mill, a post office, a general store, sailing vessels and steam barges would have come here during the shipping season. The entire community would have loaded the vessels with cordwood and railroad ties and posts and other lumber products. And the cargo would have been hauled on with horses onto the pier. It would have been a place of bustling activity. But today only the skeletons of that remain. There's a few bare bone shacks and other remnants of history here. There's not much, but there is something of that history still being kept alive today in Door County. It's called a fish boil. It's going to be delicious. It's famous. It's going to be spectacular. And we're going to go try some now.
All right, how are we doing tonight, everybody? Excellent. Thanks to you all for joining us for one of Door County's oldest traditions, a historic Door County fish boil.
15 miles south on the peninsula's west coast is the small town of Ephraim, settled in 1853 by Norwegian immigrants. An old logging harbour looks out across the water and whitewashed buildings peek from the forest, many of them more than a century old, including the original post office. Today, it is the home of one of the biggest fish boils in the county, hosted by Jeremy Torch Klaubauf.
I'm the boil master here at the old post office. All right, now if you've never been to a fish boil before? Well, obviously it is quite a dining experience to say the least. Door County is definitely home to the fish boils. We've been doing traditional fish boils here at the old post office restaurant since 1978 now, so 46 years they've been doing fish boils right out back here at this restaurant.
There's about 30 of us sat on benches in a small courtyard behind the restaurant. A fire is burning in the center beneath an enormous charred black pot, bubbling like a witch's cauldron.
3 cups of salt go into the water. Salt is the only seasoning you put into a fish boil. That's pretty much all the Norwegian settlers had back in the old days. They had plenty of fish in the water. Well, they also had potatoes, onions, butter, and salt, 5 simple ingredients, and a big kettle like this. They would do fish boils like this, and it would have just been used to feed the tiny little communities back in the 1800s, which were really nothing more than logging camps and tiny fishing villages at the time. So that's how this all started off. It wasn't until around the turn of the century people started to appreciate all this natural beauty Door County had to offer. They quit logging all the forests. They started preserving areas for state parks. So right around that time, Door County started getting its very first tourists. If you did come to Door County back in the early 1900s, well, you would have came up here by steamship. They didn't have the roads or highways built this far north on the peninsula until the late 1920s. And back in those days when you stayed at a hotel or resort for so long up here in Door County, well, they cooked all your meals for you while you stayed up here. And everybody pretty much ate the same thing. Some of those old resorts and hotels started doing fish boils for their guests, and we still do it the traditional ways like this, using firewood, and very soon a can of kerosene, which I have right over here. So somebody along the way came up with the boil over where you throw a can of kerosene into the fire, makes a huge fireball, but more importantly what it'll do, it'll make the whole kettle boil over, and yes, all this foam and ash and gunk from the top goes right along with it. It does actually work quite genius. All right. Kids, don't try this at home. 1, 2, 3. There it is.
The flame instantly shoots in the air, completely engulfing the pot in thick clouds of steam.
Here we go.
Woo! That's like 10-foot flames coming off of that.
This is definitely a pyrogene job.
I'm an eyebrows. I mean, they're trimmed. All right, let's go taste it.
Let's go taste it. Let's do it.
Most of the time, guests eat outside, but a slight rain is threatening, so we head into the restaurant.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Doing wonderful, starving, doing really hungry.
You have melted butter in the pitcher on the table right here. You want to pour
that is
that over?
melted butter.
Yes, you want to pour that over your fish, potatoes, onions, everything like that.
This is so good. So we've got a whole jar of melted butter. That just smells like so rich. I'm going in for the first bite of my fish boil. Oh man, that is so soft and delicious. That is so it's light, it's not too fishy, but it's just so perfectly cooked and delicate. And with the butter and the sauce, I'm gonna mix it with a bit of potato here now too. Oh man. Oh, that's so good.
And it's washed down with another Door County tradition, cherry pie. The climatic conditions here are perfect for growing cherries, and just like the fish boil, it was the early settlers that planted the first trees. So the meal we had tonight, whitefish caught from the harbor, boiled on a fireball and washed down with pie, is about as close as you can come to tasting history. 3 hours west of the peninsula is the agricultural heart of Wisconsin. If Food for the Oneida is about honoring the past, and for tourists sharing a living part of history today, then Stoney Acres Farm is about the future.
I grew up on this dairy farm, and I came back to it after experiencing the local food movement as a student in Madison.
This is Tony Schultz, the third-generation owner and head chef of Stoney Acres.
and I saw the Madison Farmers Market, and I saw community-supported agriculture. So we decided to bring that back.
But with a unique twist. Small family farms across the country have been struggling for decades as large corporate agriculture squeezes them out. In order to survive, the next generation of young farmers like Tony need to innovate.
Pizza on the farm is farm to table on the farm.
Yeah.
Everything comes from the farm, except the cheese, which comes from the closest creamery to my house.
Okay, great.
But I raise the wheat, grind it into flour in my granary, and that is my dough. And I raise about 2.5 acres of tomatoes. I plant tons of basil. I have to make like 100 gallons of pesto every year. Parsley, oregano. Whenever anything fresh comes into season, my menu shifts too. So whatever's in season, whatever's working, when the fresh tomatoes come on, it's margarita time.
So it's really completely in-house, every aspect of what you're doing here,
I'm
pretty
a
much.
farmer who throws pizza parties on the weekends with everything I make.
I love that. So I'm just going to say, because your t-shirt says marinara sauce is in our blood.
Right.
So that first crop in June, when it's that fresh tomatoes and the fresh sauce, what does the bite of that first margarita pizza taste like?
That margarita pizza is my favorite pizza. And it's because of the nature of the fresh tomato. You know, people always ask me, are you going to do a frozen margarita pizza? And I call them heretics. No, you have to eat this fresh. I harvested the tomato in the morning, and I cut it right before you came here, and I just put it on your pizza. This is how you eat this. There is no other way.
I love it. And that is how you should eat. But right? That's how we should all eat.
I don't actually say that. I graciously accept their $20 bill, and I say, I'll think about it.
Pizza farms are becoming a bit of a Wisconsin tradition. As well as Stoney Acres, there's a handful of other organic farmers scattered around the state with marinara in their blood.
My pigs, as you can see, I've accommodated them with a healthy wallow. They're hanging out, and like I said, I raise about 100 of them a year, and 80% of it goes on to my pizzas in the form of pepperoni, ham, sausage, bacon. And I move them monthly. I have my vegetable fields are all out here, but I like to put them on fresh plots of cover crop, like big wafts of oats and peas. That is the key variable. I'm an organic farmer, certified organic, but I believe the biggest variable is this raised outside? Is this pig eating grass and bugs and worms and in like a natural setting, or is it stuck in a pen eating, corn, which is like a diet of stale potato chips after a while for a pig? So I always get my pigs outside. The huge drawback of that is that they never get on the trailer when I want them to, so I end up usually having to wrestle them like a primitive man onto the trailer. But
I'd like to see that, because Tony, you're an impressive sized man, and my money's on you versus the pig. How many pigs can you take on at once?
It depends how much they weigh. But like a pig's like ham and its shoulder is like the size of my chest. So you really have to manipulate the pig. I like run it around a little bit.
You get tired out.
And then the pig is like, okay, fine. And that's usually how I like exhaust it. It's like,
even though you could physically dominate the pig, you use your mind.
I wouldn't say I could physically dominate a pig.
Tony's nickname, by the way, is Long Tall Cannonball. And that pretty much describes him perfectly. If it came to pepperoni versus Tony, my money's on the cannon. After the wallow, he shows us the greenhouse, the outdoor oven where the pizzas are fired, and then inside to a back room where the perfect complement to pizza is being made.
Some people have breweries because they want to sell beer. We have a brewery because Josh loves making beer. And if you will stand here long enough, you'll go to the origins of man and the importance of beer in ushering in all of human culture and civilization.
You've been listening.
This is the pinnacle of that experience right here. Josh Wright.
I gave him a book to read. Yeah.
Josh Wright is Stoney Acres brewmaster.
Beer goes right to the dawn of civilization. There's a serious debate in archaeology about whether we started being agrarian as a species in order to make bread or in order to make beer.
Did you hear the stoicism with which he said that?
Yeah. I'm on the beer side.
So with beer, you have sustainable calories that will age a little bit.
Yeah.
You also have the spiritual aspect of it where you alter your mindset and you experience something different. And so that's why that part of the debate is so strong, because early societies would have attributed that experience to something spiritual.
I've never heard beer drinking equated to a spiritual experience before. I think we're going to be best friends.
You should get a beer.
Yeah. The other thing is pizza and beer, right? Like, those two things are just a match made in heaven, aren't they?
Yeah, I've heard they go well together. But the thing is, like, the thing about, like, eating a meal with people is that, like, this is another primal thing. Like, you share a meal with somebody, it breaks down barriers, because just as, like, a physiological experience, like, oh, there's food in front of us, there's security. Yeah. So now we don't have to be threatened by each other in like a primal understanding of that. But then beer elevates that to the magic of the intoxication of a shared experience, right? And so that is why beer and pizza go well together.
Yeah.
The primal solving of a human conflict problem and the primal mysticism paired perfectly.
And I learned early that I am much more charming when someone else has had a beer.
Stoney Acres is certified organic, and Tony is passionate and committed to upholding those principles. But it's also certified insane. They make commercials when they launch a new brew that look more like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Roll in the hay.
He calls his automatic sauce stirrer a mechanized Italian grandmother, and giant beetroots hang from the ceiling of the beer hall because last year at the town parade, they wore them as costumes and danced down the street to, you guessed it, Michael Jackson's Beat It. After the brewery, Tony takes us outside to where his dad, Ed Schultz, who farmed this land for 40 years, is playing a game of horseshoes with an old family friend called Jeff. When you guys are finished, can the UK challenge Wisconsin to a game?
We got to find the rest of the shoes. I got to go find some more shoes.
Ed is something of a local legend at the game. The rules are simple. Throw a horseshoe at a stake in the ground about 20 feet away. Closest to the stake gets a point. A ringer, where the horseshoe lands on the stake itself, gets 3.
How long have you guys been playing horseshoes for?
Me, only about 3 years. Him, his whole life.
How are you feeling, Harry?
I'm feeling intimidated. We'll just watch you guys.
If he gets a ringer, he wins.
So what is
1916 right now.
Oh, it's pretty close though.
Yeah, it is close. But I only threw half the shoes he did.
Good luck. I mean, he always kicks my butt.
All right, come on, Harry. Let's see if you can hit one.
Finish their game.
No, I think he's going to show you.
Wouldn't it be so great if I just did it off the back and got a ringer? All right, it's not going to happen.
There's no money on the table.
This is the best I'm going to look all night, right? Before I throw. Oh. Okay, to even things out, can you close your eyes?
I can. It's also muscle memory. So basically,
I'll tell you what, man. This is no laughing.
Oh, is it?
I could.
You could. Okay.
I could because I threw enough.
All right, you're gonna shoot.
It's all muscle memory.
Okay.
It's just like anything that you repeat over and over
You
again.
challenge him to do it blindfolded.
I did.
Yes.
And he said yes.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see it.
I'm gonna shoot with my eyes.
He's gonna do his eyes. But I don't doubt you could.
There you go. There you go. You got it in the pit. There you go.
Yeah. You have to throw it harder. It's a little heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Right, it's 2.5 pounds.
It looks like I'm going downhill slightly now,
It is.
so I'm going to adjust.
You got gravity working.
Look out!
I couldn't throw it that far if I tried. Don't worry. You're fine.
Oh! You're dinging it.
Dinged it. I dinged it. It was my first ding.
Certainly did dig it.
I'm retired. I'm ritiring on that. That's the pinnacle of my shoot career, and I'm going to go out on top. Thank you for teaching me that game. Awesome. Thanks for the tips, my friend.
Yep,
Really nice to hang out. And you have a beautiful place here. Yeah.
Thank you.
As I stand there with Ed and Jeff, a microbrew in my hand, my pizza cooking in an open fire next to me, I get it. Since our earliest days, sharing a meal has been an essential part of our social glue. That's what Tony's doing with his giant beets and bonkers brew videos, with his homemade marinara and his pig-wrestled pepperoni.
That's part of the vibe of this whole place, is that somebody walked up to me and said, I feel like I'm at a family reunion where there's no awkwardness and everyone loves each other.
Those family reunions don't exist.
Right, no, but it's like that, and like the kids will go play on the playground and like chase the chicken, and they go look at the pigs, and I feel like it's kind of a joyous, like agrarian experience. I believe I'm actually producing food for people, and I have a restaurant, but part of what I am doing is that there's a nostalgia to rural life, right? That's part of the idea of this. And like my buddy at the farmer's market said, basically you've perfected marketing rural nostalgia, haven't you? Sure, but part of that is based in the reality of it is special that we produce for ourselves. It is special that our work is meaningful to produce something meaningful. Like when I drive by these little red barns, I see a community effort to raise that. I see my grandparents' toil, right? And that to me is like gives the human experience of work just this deep and profound meaning.
Tony says there are 4 ethical pillars to his approach to farming: local, diversified, organic, and family.
I sell everything directly to people within 45 minutes of here, or people who are coming through as tourists, but I sell it to them right here. And then being a family farm, I just believe in economic democracy. I want lots of people to have an opportunity to own something. And so small farms allow a lot of people to have access to maybe the most fundamental form of wealth, which is land, which is the ability to create something off of the land, the most necessary form. So I don't want it to be concentrated in the hands of fewer and fewer people. And that's what the family farm represents. The family provides the majority of the labor. Yeah. And now I say, one of my slogans would be Stoney Acres Farm, saving the family farm one pizza party at a time. The other slogan would be Stoney Acres Farm, just the right amount of pig shit. Because
there's a t-shirt there.
Because there's enough pigs here to know that this is a real working farm. But there's not so many pigs that we are disgusted by it in terms of the industrialism of it and turning animals into units and these giant manure lagoons and all the problems with industrial agriculture. Right? So that's why that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is how I've figured out how to keep the family farm going.
No, Tony, thanks so much, mate. This is, it's a beautiful food tour. I expected that. I didn't expect the comedy show as well at the same time, so that was amazing.
Oh, good. You can market this now to several other demographics.
And this is the pizza arriving at the perfect moment.
Now we have what you need.
As if we planned it. Thanks, my friend. Thank you so much. Look at that. That looks beautiful.
You guys want some beer to go with that?
Yes, sir. We'd want some beer to go with that. This is gorgeous. Food is an essential part of our identity. It carries our stories. From the first Oneida who arrived here guarding their corn through the winter, to the settlers who came from Europe and brought their traditions with them. The food of a place holds its history, but it's a history that is still alive. We can taste it. And those stories are still being written, and the best of them are leading us back to those earliest days when food was sacred and nourished our soul as well as our bellies, when it was harvested with good mind and good intention. So we'll end with how we began, with grace, because we should be thankful for every meal. Thank you for listening to the second episode in our series about Wisconsin. If you missed the first one, go and check it out. Powwows, praying mantises, Frank Lloyd Wright, and Harley Davidsons. It's a good one. We recorded this series on a week-long road trip through the state. Absolutely loved it. And if you'd like to find out how you can do this exact trip or any variation thereof, go to travelwisconsin.com. You can also check out their socials. @TravelWisconsin is the Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and Facebook. Thank you to everyone who took part in today's episode. Kirby Matoxin, council member of the Oneida Nation, Leah Zize from the Oneida Food Pantry, Becky Webster from Uwakwa Farm, Jeremy Torch, Klaubauf at the Old Post Office Restaurant in Ephraim, and Tony Schultz and the whole crew at Stoney Acres Farm. Links for each of these are in the show notes. This episode was produced by Armchair Productions, the audio experts for the travel industry. Find our other shows at armchair-productions.com. My name's Aaron Miller. I wrote and presented the episode and produced it along with Jason Patton. Brian Thacker led our pre-production, Ali Nisbet did the field recording, and Charles Tyree did the audio production and sound design. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.
Quick question. Do you want travel tips from people who have actually been there?
Our show is co-hosted by Tim Johnson, an award-winning travel journalist who's been to more than 145 countries around the world. And I'm David Brody, the other co-host who's been travel podcasting for 20 years while traveling to 50-plus countries around the world.
In about 10 or 20 minutes per show, we break down a destination with the kind of insight you usually only get from long guidebooks or hours of research.
So if you want expert advice, zero fluff, and travel inspiration that you can actually use, search for Travel in 10 wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also find us at boyescape.com.
Hi, I'm Pauline Fromer, host of the Fromer's Travel Podcast. We post new episodes weekly, detailing the kinds of money-saving tips and cultural insights that will make your trips richer without making you significantly poorer. We do so by interviewing real travel experts like TV host Samantha Brown, Fromer's authors from around the globe, and such public figures as Free Solo's Alex Honnold. It's a fun travel party. I hope you can join us.